how Netflix and Warner Brothers HBO Max make up about a third of the streaming service market. Joining us now, NewsNation political contributor Chris Cillizza. He is the host of So What with Chris Cillizza on YouTube and a senior advisor for the DGA Group. Happy Monday. Good morning. How you doing?
Well, I've done a lot of flying over the last 24 hours, but I'm good. I'm here.
Right. You're here. You're present, accounted for. All right. So this deal, President Trump says it's about market share. Is it more than that?
Well, look, I mean, just before I came on, Marni, I saw the Wall Street Journal reporting that Paramount is going to try to go directly to shareholders and argue that their bid for all of Warner Brothers Discovery, including CNN, is more appealing, and try to sort of override this deal that the leadership of Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery has cut. So, I mean, we've got a huge fight on our hands, and probably a very public fight, as David Ellison, the head of Paramount Skydance, is sort of aggressively taking it, not taking it sitting down and not just saying, oh, okay, we lost out. Donald Trump and his administration will have a role in this. I mean, you know, he has a role in everything these days, and he seems to think it's part of his job to play litigator of who gets what. Obviously, the Ellisons are friendly with Donald Trump. They've made some moves since buying CBS to put some more conservative, or not even pro-Trump voices, but more conservative voices in. So I think with Paramount's move, you know, literally 5 minutes ago, I think you're going to see this become a much more public fight.
Yeah. So Paramount, just to add to that, is offering to acquire Warner Brothers for $30 a share, and that just happened in the last few minutes. What is the takeaway for people at home watching who have multiple streaming services for them about industry consolidation?
Yeah, I mean, like me, right? I mean, I think
everybody.
like all of us, right? Like all of us, I think, like you look sometimes and you say, like, wait, we subscribe to that and we're paying what for that? The reality is we go through these cycles of bundling, unbundling, and then rebundling, right? And so obviously the cable television bundle has become disaggregated, but what's replaced it are all of these separate streaming services. And the truth of the matter is, very few people can pay for 5, 6, 7, 8 streaming services, right? And there's going to be a battle for who are the three, the CBS, ABC, and NBC of the streaming world. And the question is, what's that going to look like? Consolidation is coming, right? And the question is, are you going to have the number 1 streamer and the number 3 streamer, so Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery merge, or could this Paramount bid work out and create them as this massive? Everyone understands that there are too many, and there's only going to be a few survivors. And they are all of this back and forth that you're seeing, including Paramount mounting what I would say is a pretty unprecedented bid for Warner Brothers Discovery, is I think indicative of how critical they view the stakes are for these content companies.
And the president has said, Chris, that he will be involved in the decision.
Yes.
What form does that take, do you think?
I saw that at the Kennedy Center honors. Yeah. The short answer, Marni, is I don't know, right? I mean, it's very hard to know. The FCC has some role here, right, in terms of monopolies. You know, Trump talked a little bit about that on Sunday night. He essentially said, you know, that could give them 30+, them meaning Warner Brothers Discovery and Netflix, 30+% of market share there. Is that too much? Is that monopolistic? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, past presidents would probably say, like, that's up to the FCC. We're going to let them handle it. But Donald Trump is not past presidents on this or any other matter. So I think it kind of remains to be seen. I'm not sure if you asked Donald Trump today what role he's going to play, he would be able to tell you. And by the way, the Paramount news further complicates what role he could play or what role he should play, because in the theory being, well, Paramount and the Ellisons are more aligned with kind of the Trumpian view of the world. Does he want to help them, right? He's very into helping his enemies and helping his friends and hurting his enemies. Does that factor in now that Paramount is saying, well, we're not going to just walk away from this? I don't know, right? I mean, this is all happening within the last literally few minutes.
Yeah, it's fluid for sure. Chris, thanks as always. Good to see you.
Thank you. Take care, Marni.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.